it's a hell of a jacket.
It's a bit of something.
It's a hell of a jacket.
It really is. So we're going to be heading to Ibiza for our first map here, all the way to Coastline, La Perla Blanca, where we're going to see Fierce Esports and NaVi face off in map number 1. We're going to see the Capitao ban coming out straight away there, X, something that we very commonly see for those attacker bans now.
Yeah, Capitao shows a lot of value here on Coastline, as there isn't much need for a hard breacher. That being said, Hibana is going to be banned out. It sometimes is handy to have a Hibana if you're going to look to maybe open up the wall into the back of sofa inside of billiards, as that is the main use of a hard breacher on this map. Mirror, again, no surprise. Mirror does tend to see a higher ban rate when we are in a LAN environment. Final ban, imagining it's going to be an Echo. We've
Maybe
seen a lot of Maestro play today so far. It's still up in the air. It's taking a long time to think about this.
Certainly having a good think about this one, Fierce. So we will see that one coming through. As you say, the Hibana, probably quite a good choice there because, like you say, the hard breach, Echo it is as we expected. The hard breach can be a difficult one on Coastline because they're very dangerous positions to get into. Like you say, to get that wall open in the courtyard that goes in behind couches in the billiards area, very difficult for a thermite there, very dangerous. So you want to do it from the safety of roof, really, to get those Hibana pellets fired across onto the wall and open things up. So probably a good shout if you're going to remove either hard breach on Coastline. I think Hibana is definitely the one to go for. No major surprises there. We've got Citizen coming out on the Jackal, so very aware of this roam game. We know that it can be a difficult roam game to play in Coastline because you're limited, particularly on the top floor objectives. If you're having roamers downstairs, there's only 2 ways back up then. Obviously on the vice versa, you can always drop the courtyard, so that does give you a little bit more flexibility. But yeah, certainly something that can be difficult to perfect the Coastline roam game.
Yeah, without a doubt. We're going to be looking toward Kitchen for the first bomb site. It is, of course, Fierce to start out on the defence. They're opting to bring fairly frag-heavy lineups coming out from both these teams here. Fierce not really choosing to bring the Maestro, which is slightly interesting, I would guess. You know, Nathan there instead opting for the Dock, so still going to be bringing that ACOG. We're just not going to have quite as much information, maybe, as they will perhaps need later on in the round. You can see Prox there throwing out some Valkyrie cameras, so information is still going to be flowing around, but you would typically look to be bringing a Maestro for this objective. An extended roam game coming out as well, as is the norm here on Coastline. And is Penguin getting ready for an early run out there? You can see Prox has already thrown the camera. Penguin in and around that balcony area. He's going to come to blows, but no, doesn't manage to land his shots. Saves, taking the first kill of the round. Can't quite make it a second as Prox comes out with the repeat. Just making that an even 4-4 in the first 20 seconds of this fixture.
I think that set the tempo for us here, X. This is what we are going to see throughout this fixture. Fierce already being up front and saying they're here to have some fun. And this is maybe how you get the better of NaVi. You know, you come out and you do those unexpected things. They're really going to have to try and mix things up. But that early kill from Saves there, yes, they've lost the Ash in the meantime, but he got the Mozzie off the board. So that is, again, good potential. Even if those drones now are captured by the pests, they can't be relocated. So the use is minimised. And it just says to me that NaVi are ready for those sorts of plays. Saves obviously already in his ADS towards those common peak spots and hits the shots onto Penguin. So that leaves us in an early 4 versus 4. And interestingly, after such a quick flurry of activity to begin with, we see a real slowdown here. No further kills, no further damage really being traded. Kendrew's taken a few shots on the books by the looks of things, but other than that, it's been fairly sedate. After that, we've got Citizen now in the VIP area. He's taking control of that top floor. Pie's up there with him as well, just getting the drone out. I'm sure they're aware of Keenan over in theatre by now, and that's going to be important for NaVi. They have to get out there and get those roamers cleared out. Kendrew with a kill of his own onto Alfie now, bringing us 5 versus 3. That one coming in from Sunrise, possibly directly into sight there. Citizen will drop the courtyard, get one onto Prox, and leave us now in a 4 versus 2. And this round is really starting to heat up as NaVi apply the pressure, as they start to seal the lid on that pressure cooker and start pushing in towards sight with a minute to go.
Citizen knows there's someone else in lobby as well, but won't go and challenge it. He is in fact going to get cleaned out by Nathan. 2 quick kills to close that round out there for NaVi as Pi and Nello grab 1 apiece. And well, what an explosive first round. I don't think we're expecting anything less from these two teams, especially as in the pre-game, Prox did say it himself, they were going to go for that monkey strategy, they were going to go for the runouts. I think, you know, as NaVi, you've got to be expecting that coming into that first round, that they're going to be throwing some runouts in there and they're going to be getting up in your face. Ultimately, it just wasn't quite enough, and NaVi's experience there showing them and pulling through.
There's one little problem with getting up on stage and telling the team that you're going to play monkey strategies, and that's that they're expecting those jump outs, and that is a big positive of those sorts of plays, is that they're unexpected, is that they don't know that it's coming, and you just take them by surprise. So by sort of mailing that in, by putting it up there in front of them and trying to sort of threaten them with it, we've seen the result of that. As you run out, Saves is already trained on it, they're already ready. It's quite an easy strategy to deal with once you know that that's what somebody is doing. Peaks, run-outs should be cheap kills for the attackers.
Every time, we talk about it time and time again. As an attacker, you've got the option of an ACOG. You don't always bring it, but inherently that gives you an advantage. You're usually using an assault rifle, which is much better at range than the SMGs that defenders have. So on paper, you should be winning those engagements as an attacker, and like you say, often they do become very free and cheap kills to grab indeed. Penguin this time opting for the Legion, and I think he's going to be maybe trying to keep himself alive for the first portion of this round and not go for the crazy run-outs. It's not something that you can pull out every single time. It seems like NaVi are going to get dialed into that pretty quickly, and it might just take him a couple of extra seconds to get into the building. This is one of my favourite spawn peaks. This is a kill every single time in ranks, but he's not going to hold it for quite long enough. There is somebody going to have spawned over there, but I'm not sure if they would have been caught out by it or not.
I mean, I can't say that I see you get the kill every single time, X. I do see you lose your head to that. Just once or twice every now and again. 50%, 60% of the time, just about that. Heading into round number 2 proper then. We are 30 seconds into the action phase here, and we've got some good early progress from NaVi. They are certainly not messing about getting into the building. We can see Kendrew absolutely steaming into kitchen on the book there, and that is only one room away from the site, so it gives him a direct line of sight in there, and he can start already cutting down those potential rotations. Saves obviously acting on some information there, potential call out that somebody's just playing in that sort of couch area, if you will, on the far side of that blue wall there. So again, pressure going to be coming in here. They're looking to clear out Sunrise so that they can think then about potential vertical use of getting Kendrew underneath the site and just opening things up and trying to see what they can get through that floor.
You can see the teamwork coming through now, as well as Kendrew is going to, in fact, get downed outside of kitchen, as Saves wasn't able to refrag him or at least assist in that process. Trying to hold on to the hatch as well. He's going to open the wall, and that's going to make rotation in and out of Sunrise very difficult indeed. I do believe there is still a defender in there downstairs behind the bar. Citizen now going to get some drone work done upstairs as well. And while NaVi are working well as a team, they are getting caught out ever so slightly. Pi is going to get a trade kill there over onto Keenan, with Prox cleaning him straight back out. Saves has now managed to navigate his way in and around that Sunrise. Not going to choose to pick up Kendrew. Instead, he's going to get into a challenge, but he is in fact going to get cut down by Alfie. So Alfie there potentially dropping the hatch, getting himself down into Sunrise. Nello finding one onto Penguin, but we are still in a, well, Kendrew is still down, should I say. So we're still in a 3 versus 2 situation with a minute left on the clock. It's looking pretty good. Citizen now going to go and try and revive Kendrew just as the last few seconds of his timer were about to run out. So he's going to be back in the fight, and this is going to allow NaVi a good opportunity to try and recompose themselves and understand how they're going to try and execute onto this point. They've got a lot of time left now. They've still got nearly a minute on the clock. They've just got to get themselves working as a team. You can already see Nello inside of Aquarium just holding a very soft angle there onto the door.
Good contrast of play styles here from Fierce, making it difficult, changing things up so that they can't always be second-guessed. They come out really aggressive in the early round last time. This time playing much more patient, playing on site, happy to take those trades and just sort of win by war of attrition, if you will, just taking one at a time. But NaVi moving in, trying to play the objective and get that diffuser down. Great run out from Alfie on the Maestro to take Citizen off the rappel. Nathan will finish things off with a kill onto Kendrew, and that is a bit of a message from Fierce there to say, we're not all about just jumping out of windows. We're not all about spawn peeking. We know what we're doing, and we're here to play as well. And that was a much better round from them. That was a bit of a joy to watch, to be honest. It was a really great defence of that top floor site.
A very calm and cool round, I think, coming out there from Fierce. They held very important areas well, and they did a good job of singling the players of NaVi out ever so slightly. We could see Saves getting himself into a real pickle at the bottom of Cool Vibe stairs there, challenging over onto the Prox. He knew that the hatch was open, but he just didn't have that support because Kendrew had, of course, already been downed. And, well, Fierce not rushing to convert that kill onto Kendrew. Ultimately, he got picked up, but it was meaningless in the end because they were still able to win the round just through playing nice and passively and using that clock to their advantage, as, of course, they are on the defensive side. Frost coming out. How do you feel about that one, Tim?
Makes me sweat.
Yeah.
It makes me sweat, X, sat here even on the casting desk. I feel that there's a real possibility that I'll still end up in a Frost map, one way or another. It seems to happen very, very consistently. So heading into round number 3, I think Fierce there, we need more of the same from them. They're heading back to Kitchen. Now, they put themselves on the back foot immediately last time that they defended this in round 1. We had the early run out, didn't really have any joy from it, and it just put them on the back foot. What we need here is that successful roam game again that we've just seen there, and that's exactly what won them a lot of that round. As you said, that early sort of halt to the progress of Kendrew and Saves, not able to pay dividends, not able to get those trades, and not able to push in and get themselves to a man advantage, and a lot of utility taken off the board early from Fierce as well. We can see here Nathan just taking out, it looks like he's keen, to have a little run out and get a peek, see if anybody comes round, but it's just going to be a little bit more reserved. He's not going to actually step foot out of the map here. He's just using that ACOG to its best advantage and just holding the angle, but nobody's going to go anywhere near that. We can see Saves is moving very, very cautiously while he's outside. It's a really dangerous area around the ruins there. You've got Sunrise window, you've got Hooker double window, you've got Blue Bar single window, you've got the potential run out from Office double door and Pool run out. You've got 5 potential peaks or run outs to watch. It's absolutely perilous round there.
It isn't a great place to choose to spawn in, but you can see Saves there. Despite being on the Ash, he's going to try and gather that early information as to where Nathan is playing, and it looks as though Nathan's going to choose to rotate himself back up Cool Vibes and just try and get himself maybe back onto the site in a later portion of this round. You can see there's a bit of presence upstairs inside of Theatre and Penthouse as well, as we can already hear the book going off in the distance. Pi will be down, but Nello is planting the diffuser. How has this happened? Kendrew holding the cross. Alfie is going to be stuck behind the bomb. He's going to jump into the Evil Eye, but it is going to be too late. Citizen takes off his head, and you can see the track stingers getting deployed as well, as we are now in a post-plan situation. Penguin left with no option but to try and run out. 2 quick kills coming through there for NaVi. Make it 3 as Kendrew hits a double. Now 1 versus 5. Nathan's got it all to do. He finds one onto Saves, but this is going to be a very tough task indeed, as there is about half of the time left on the diffuser. He's over inside of Sunrise. He's just been droned as well. That means that there's at least 4 Navi guns pointing in his direction, and it's going to be Nello closing things out on the gridlock. Not only is he going to get the plant, he's going to get the final kill as well.
You know what I think we've seen in those first 3 rounds? We see Fierce come out with the early jump out round 1, so NaVi think, right, okay, that's the sort of game this is going to be, so we have a bit of back and forth. Fierce come out and then completely flip things on its head and say, no, it's not going to be that kind of game, we're taking this seriously. Round 3, NaVi say, that's fine, we're going to take this seriously. They come out with a great early plant from Nello. How about that? Getting in on the gridlock. I particularly like the deployment of those track stingers. Absolutely perfect location there to prevent the defenders being able to move through easily towards that diffuser. Kendrew on the prone, absolutely great crossfire to allow and facilitate Nello to get that plant down. Something that we've seen a lot more. We've seen Nello getting more plants down recently rather than it being Kendrew going in with the diffuser. Seems to be splitting between those 2 a little bit.
Is there anything he can't do?
I don't think there is. I mean, I've already given Nello his plaudits for today, and I'll say it again, for my money, genuinely the best defensive player in Siege. When you put him on a site, his knowledge around that is unbelievable. But we're going to be heading now into round number 4. NaVi have taken a slight advantage here, 2-1. Fierce have shown that they are definitely here to play. They're certainly not going to be rolled over, but they are going to have an uphill struggle if NaVi start playing like they did in that last round, within the first minute getting that diffuser down, no messing about at all.
It's just testament to the information and the communication that we're seeing in the side of NaVi, you know. They're going out there, they're gathering that info on the drone, they're finding out, hey look guys, there's 3 players off site. There's only 1 person in site in a position to do anything about this. We're going to go and get the plant down. I'm going to watch the cross. You get the plant. Nello, you can deploy your utility for post-plant. And I don't think we'd even seen a minute and the plant was going down. And it's just about taking that opportunity when it arises, because, you know, opportunities like that don't come around all the time, and it's about being able to execute on them very quickly indeed. That's not to say that NaVi are going to go for a rush plant every single round. They're only going to do it when they see that correct opportunity. Double run out of main Lamborghini door there coming out for Nathan. It will be fruitless, although he did have information on the heartbeat scanner. He's already used his nitro cell as well. Not sure where that got deployed, but it didn't result in any kills at all. We are seeing a bit of a different bomb site come out as well. We're looking toward Blue Bar, and that could be a bit of something different for Fierce. It could be a bit of an advantage for them here. We've seen the same sites coming through a number of times now. But it looks as though vertical pressure is going to get the better of them, as Alfie is very concerned with that small hole inside of hooker deck floor. Well, Nathan is going to find the first one over onto Pi.
Great start for Fierce there, coming out, firing, taking the Zofia off the board. But not only Zofia, taking an excellent fragger with him as well in Pi off the board, who is absolutely riding a wave of confidence at the minute, I think, following on from Japan. Such a positive response to him there. He was definitely in the running for MVP there. You know, him and Citizen both just doing absolute wonders for the team. We're going to see Alfie getting a second there. We just about missed the view of that with saves, losing his life as he came in through the window. Double door Nello will start to do some work, but again, Fierce working very well in pairs. Penguin able to just step outside and trade that kill back out for his team, now leaving us in a 2 versus 1 as we get a flurry of kills there. Comes down to a 1 versus 1. Citizen versus Penguin. Where would your money be? I know if I had to place it anywhere, it'd have to go on the side of Citizen here, but Penguin does have the superior hit point count. We can just see now the Jackal working towards trying to find any information that will tell him where the Legion of Penguin is hiding. He's very cautious of picking up that diffuser. He's even going to deploy some utility to enable him to do it. He needs to step out now and pick the diffuser up if he's going to. He was obviously cautious of that being watched. That's a nice little play there from Citizen to pick that up. It just shows a level of quality and a thought process there about every small element that could lose him this fight. But Penguin doing what he needs to do at the minute, holding himself down on site. Citizen just taking the opportunity there to use that Jackal tracker, see if he can get any footprints, but he won't be able to. There comes the shot from Penguin, got himself in a great location, just out into the courtyard, so even with Citizen scanning around the sites, down his ADS, he wasn't going to pick Penguin up there. He had to move, and he moved straight into his line of sight. Really like that. Nice and calm there, nice and patient from Penguin.
Very patient indeed, you know, going against someone like Citizen, it's never going to be easy. You could see the thought process, the smoke getting deployed, recovering the diffuser nice and early. There was a heck of a lot of time left on the clock just because of how many kills we'd seen earlier on in that round. And it's a very difficult position for Citizen to be in. He obviously had no information to work off whatsoever. Penguin, all the time in the world, running that clock down, more than happy just to sit and hold the angle, and it paid big dividends for him in the end.
Well, I mean, you know what it feels like to be in a 1 versus 1 situation with the diffuser down X against Citizen, don't you?
It did happen in ranked once.
And you were sweating.
Yeah, it was my moment.
It would have been your moment had you won it. Moving on to round number 5 then. 2 versus 2 at the minute on the scoreboard. NaVi certainly being matched at the minute, play for play. It seems like Fierce just come out and maybe have a bit of a quiet round and then a big round and then a quiet. It just seems to be flip-flopping for them a little bit. If they could just manage to maybe just see a bit more consistency in that performance, I think they could really give NaVi a game here.
Something that Fierce are doing really well so far is aggressively double peaking things. So we saw downstairs, Nello was felled by, I believe it was Prox, who peeked immediately after. Keenan peeked out of the office door, and it just makes things so easy then, because Nello wasn't expecting it. It is a little bit of an unpredictable way to play. You're not anticipating getting immediately re-peeked after you've just got a kill. Nello gets caught in the reload or throwing out the track stingers or whatever it was, and it's an easy trade. You know, you get in those trades finally, and that's something that Fierce have been doing really well so far. Is if they're going to play aggressive and they're going to peek, they're usually willing to commit 2 bodies to that and at least come out equal, if not positive.
Yeah, and it's, as you said, they've been winning the rounds that they have won. It's almost been by attrition. It's been getting the early kill, and then each time one of them dies, they just pick somebody up in return, and ultimately you're going to win because you've got the numbers advantage at that point. And they've been more than happy to do that. So I'm interested to see what NaVi do now. Every time they've lost a round, they've responded in kind, and they've come back really big with a fantastic round to follow. So we've got Pi and Nello just working towards office there. I think NaVi put in some work in here to try and locate any roamers within the map. We've got the Valkyrie of Keenan just hidden away downstairs. He needs to be found because on that Valkyrie he could well have a nitro cell in pocket as well, and that could be dangerous come the late round here, especially when the NaVi players start getting themselves into the top floor area. We can see Citizen now. He's aware of some players in the penthouse area. He needs to be careful here. He needs to wait until he's got all that information, aware of where everybody is. We can see that he's just going to push himself in and pre-fires the bathroom. He's looking for footprints and will find them. And very fortunately for Citizen, that's the Pulse that was hiding tight against the wall. But meanwhile, as all that's happening, Prox will get the kill onto Nello, and that's the gridlock off the board, so that could be some important utility loss. Citizen moves in, clears Penguin out. That will be the Legion, and that is the first of the players in that VIP penthouse area, but he won't get the second as Nathan on the Pulse, although tracked earlier, will manage to still get himself into a position to get the headshot on Citizen, and Keenan will find Saves way unaware and way out of position as he moves onto the flank and gets a headshot, and Fierce are really starting to turn the screw a little bit here, really putting the pressure on. There goes another kill, Prox moving in with his second of the round onto Kendrew, and that will now leave us in a 1 versus 4, and it was far too much to ask of Pi as Nathan finishes things off for Fierce, and they take the lead here.
Unfortunate timing there for Pi, just coming out of ADS at the wrong moment. Arguable as to whether it would have been impactful or not, as he was in a 1v4 at that moment in time. But NaVi, I've got to ask, where's the information? Where is the intel? Citizen has tried to push through Hooker, well, tried successfully to push through VIP and Hall of Fame, on into Penthouse, through into Theatre, and do his jackal thing in and around that area. Yep. It's been okay so far, but he tries to do it on his own. He gets some drone information, but I'm not sure he knew that there was 2 players inside a Penthouse, because he got the drone information, then he was able to track, but he never saw 2 players on the drone at the same time. So in his mind, he's probably like, there's one there because I've got the track information. Then pushing in onto VIP, just didn't quite, wasn't able to make it happen. And what happened? Nathan just there holding the window, just easy kills. I think, NaVi just getting caught out a little bit too separated here, and they need to try and work a little bit better as a team there, because so far Fierce really tore them apart that round.
They certainly did, and moving back down to Kitchen now for round number 6, it's a site that we've seen Fierce struggle with. They haven't won here yet. The question could have been asked, might they have been better going up to Penthouse and Theatre and mixing it up? I know it's not an overly popular site, especially with the mirror unavailable, but let's be honest, on Kitchen, they have lost summarily both times. So there's going to be a question there of should they have mixed that up, especially if NaVi come in here and take this round very well. But that being said, it does give Fierce the opportunity just to iterate on what they've done previously. How have they lost it? Why have they lost it? We can see Prox getting very, very aggressive and punished for it as Citizen gets the headshot as he tries to move back into VIP. And I just think that was a little bit of an unnecessary risk there. I think they already have struggled on this site. You need your players late into the round as much as possible, and he's just thrown that one away there.
Citizen there just trying to bait somebody jumping out of that window as well. More than ready if the occasion did arise. Saves has found himself inside of Hooker, and what about that for a kill onto Penguin on Cool Vibe Stairs? The pre-fire shots came out. He knew that somebody was going to be in and around that area, and quickly NaVi have a 2-man advantage with over 2 minutes left on the clock as well. Saves still holding that angle there onto Cool Vibe. C4 toss comes through, shot out of the air with ease. Saves is able now to progress on. Going to throw some stun grenades and see if he can gather any last-second information before making the next stage of his push. He's already done a lot of work on this stairway, and even if he just holds this for the rest of the round, it will be enough for his team. Alfie, however, will find one over onto Pi. I think it's fair to say, just struggling to find his feet a little bit today.
I love it when those nitros get taken out of the air. It's just such a showpiece of the skill and ability that's on show here today. Saves not messing about. Here's the nitro rip, waits for it to come over the wall, and then just flicks, bang, straight out of the air. It really is a piece of art to watch sometimes. So we're going to have Fierce now falling back to site largely. Obviously, they are getting pushed around this map at this point. Nathan trying to do all that he can from the office side, but it looks like Kitchen once again is going to be a struggle for them. 4 versus 3 with a minute still on the clock. Top floor control is now in the hands of NaVi, and they're starting to apply that vertical pressure. Twitch drone coming in, just all that utility that can be used to disrupt things on site and move people around. The Twitch drone there, you might think, well, they're better off going after utility gadgets, but what that will do by shocking somebody is just force them to move around a little bit potentially, and that's what they want at the minute. They want people forced into those vertical angles. We can see Keenan just absolutely frantic moving around site here. He knows the push is coming from Sunrise side. As he takes the peak, he will lose his head to Saves, and that now leaves us in a 4 versus 2, but NaVi do need to be conscious of the clock here. Both players now will get a kill as Saves gets one onto Alfie, and that leaves us in a 1 versus 4. Nathan with it all to do. I think he was still off site at that point, so Nello will be able to move in and start getting the diffuser down. Saves for his 3rd on the round as Nathan moves back through courtyard, and that will be the round to NaVi. 3 apiece on the first half, and I tell you what, this one so far, X, a little bit closer than anybody expected, I think.
It really is, and it's defined by moments like Prox running out onto DJ Booth. You know, had he not done that, that round could have been a heck of a lot closer, but because of what happened so early on into the round and Citizen picking up that really early kill, Saves was then able to meander his way on through and just pick up 4 kills for free. Very difficult to call. I think had Fierce played that one a little bit differently from the off, we could have seen it go a slightly different way, albeit we've seen Kitchen lost every single time that Fierce chose to play it. Now, it's all about the switch. NaVi on the defense, Fierce on the attack. Arguably more difficult for Fierce now, as attack is inherently more difficult on Siege. But that being said, Coastline is one of those maps that usually sits a little bit closer to 50-50 in terms of attacker-defender split. So attacking isn't impossible onto Coastline, as we've seen. What are NaVi going to be able to do here in terms of, you know, building a bit more of a lead? Because they're not going to be comfortable coming out of that first half at 3 apiece. They're going to want to try and, you know, just take this game and, okay, we've seen the first half now. What are we going to be able to do to really stick a bit of a gap? Let's stick around between us and Fierce.
I think a key player here is going to be Citizen. How much success he is going to see out on the roam could well determine how the next few rounds and the rest of this map go. I think if I put my neck on the line, I think NaVi do better here on defence than Fierce have. I can see NaVi getting better than 3 apiece on defence. I would expect them to at least get 4-2 and to take the map. So I think really this scoreline coming into their defensive phase does favour them. But are we going to start seeing some of those potential risky plays coming from NaVi that we've seen so far from Fierce? We can see Nello at the bottom of your screen in office there, just taking that peek out onto the ruins area. Again, maybe just wanting to send that message that you're not the only ones that can play aggressive. I mean, come on, if Nello's off the site and peeking out onto ruins, then all bets are off.
You better hope that Doki isn't watching, because he doesn't like Nello leaving the site.
He'll team kill him from the audience.
The push is coming through for Fierce, mainly on the DJ booth area, already inside of Hall of Fame, as the drone work is going to be completed now, and Alfie not going to choose to drone much further. I think he's actually lining up there the Mozzie drone and just pointing it out there for Keenan, as it will be Pi that's trying to gather that information on the Mozzie drone. So he's going to know that the push is coming through, and that could do a really good job to just slow Fierce down ever so slightly by not peeking. But what about that for a kill on the window? Citizen there, finding one over onto an upside down Penguin, and a second on to Keenan. You spoke about it earlier, Tim. If Citizen sees some success on the roam, it's going to be very difficult for Fierce. Good success coming quite early for him there, as within the first half of the round he's picked up 2 kills, and it's going to be 2 key players for the side of Fierce. Losing the IQ as well, he's just going to put a little bit more power inside of the electronics on the side of NaVi. He's now just able to hold onto 90 corridor. Doesn't really need to move around all too much. Pi's going to see a little bit of pressure coming through Penthouse here, but it's going to be Citizen taking the engagement. C4 toss comes through and misses, but the double peek comes through. I thought that it was Citizen that grabbed that, but it was Pi instead. Bit of a nomad charge through the wall there, but it isn't going to do anything to knock Citizen's confidence, as he's going to go for the full run out as well, as Kendry grabs the head onto Prox. It's going to be Save saying he wants a piece of the action on this flawless round, finding that last one onto Nathan. Well, the first round on defense for NaVi coming through as a flawless one.
I think that sort of demonstrates the point that I was making there. NaVi coming out and sending a big message. We're on defense now. We've just gone flawless, and you have to play into us, and that is not going to be easy for Fierce, especially if Citizen can come out and have the start to the round like that, where he's picking up a couple of big kills and putting them at a serious disadvantage then when pushing onto the site. That's something that they're going to have to deal with. They are going to have to pick Citizen out. They're going to have to find him, and just as I'm saying those words, we see it's going to get all the more difficult to find Citizen as he picks up the Vigil, and he's going to be using that electronic cloaking device to keep himself off the drones. They need to be finding him, cornering him, teaming up on him, 2, 3, 4, all 5 of them pushing in onto him to make sure that they get that trade.
I mean, Citizen's got many forms, and the Vigil isn't his final form. It's when he pulls out Alibi.
That's when you're in trouble.
That's the final form, I think. And we've seen it before on Coastline. I can't remember when, but I distinctly remember him picking up like a 4K with the suppressed MX4. That's the final form. He's just building up to it now. We're only in round 8 at this point, so he's got a bit of time to ramp up. But yeah, Vigil is a dangerous operator at the best of times. It's going to be even more dangerous in a few weeks if the Boss GA-Cog makes its way onto the live build, as I'm sure that everyone's excited to see what sort of an impact that's going to have. But for the time being, we are left with just the standard K1A and the cloaking device, obviously. And that's going to be really tough now for Fierce to try and pin down that roamer.
We can see there Vigil picked 22 times this season on the defensive side. It's not an operator that we tend to see a ridiculously high pick rate for. Those tend to be reserved for the likes of Jaeger and Smoke, who we can see on the board there between Nello and Saves. But it is an operator that can be popular on these sites, on these maps where you want to be able to get out and have a successful roam game. But this round, again, is largely going to be defined by how Fierce can narrow down where Citizen is, how they can pen him in, and how they can prevent him from having that sort of freedom that we know he is so dangerous when he uses. Keenan coming in with a good first kill onto Saves. That's a nice headshot for him on the knock, and interestingly using the counter there, not necessarily a counter to Vigil, but sort of a counterpart, if you will. Same sort of ability, keeping yourself off the cams, just demonstrating the importance of that information in Siege, and every opportunity that you've got to deny the other team any sort of information as to your whereabouts is definitely something, and it's an opportunity to be taken.
And something that we've seen so far is Keenan's had a bit of a quiet game, I think it's fair to say. You can see Nathan wasting no time, just vaulting straight through kitchen window. He's going to take out Kendry before getting downed himself, and no doubt finished off, as it will be a Toxic Babe canister there coming out from Nello. Alfie finding one onto Citizen, so closing down that roam game, and well, it's not looking great for NaVi at this moment in time. Pie's still upstairs inside of Penthouse. We've got Nello on site. I think he's got 2 canisters left at best. Pie's going to find one, but it won't be enough. He's going to get traded out straight away. Keenan finding another one. Site wall will now be getting breached, and it's all down to Nello. 1 versus 3 situation. Penguin shutting things down. The pinch comes through from Fierce, and a very good attack. Kitchen looking very attacker-sided today.
Who saw this coming as we move in towards round number 9, and we are 4 apiece as it stands between Fierce Esports and NaVi. What I like to see here, X, and I'm sure you'll agree, is round to round we're seeing immediate adaptations. So NaVi come in round 7, have a great round with Citizen on the roam, and pretty much win things because of that. So what do we see in round 8? We see Fierce come back and take a great roam clearance, and they remove that element from NaVi's game. So now NaVi have to come back and think of something else. But we saw some success from the knock last time, so guess what? I'd imagine we'll see NaVi ready and prepared to deal with that, so it won't have the same success. So really, I think if anybody wants to chain some rounds together here, what they need to be picking up on is this quick adaptation from both sides, and they need to be changing themselves. We're seeing too much of sort of rinse and repeat. We've had a good game on the roam there, let's put Citizen on Vigil and play another round on the roam, and then you get hurt for it. So they need to be changing it up each round as well.
Definitely, and Citizen this time throwing things back, getting himself onto the Jaeger, a much more utility-based pick. And he's not going to play as aggressively, I imagine. He's going to take it a little bit slower. He's not looking to evade all these drones and almost go for that lurking game. He's probably going to play in conjunction with Pie and just try and grab a couple of kills out there on the roam. In contrast to that, we're seeing Prox picking up the Nomad again. We saw it's already caught Citizen out one time. So if those get placed in the right location, it's going to be really difficult to make the way back onto site. And that should be a consideration here really for NaVi, in that, okay, if we get ourselves out there on the roam, let's try and not get ourselves locked off there, because we're still going to need to try and get back onto the site, because there's only so much pressure that the 2 players on site can withstand, and we're going to be looking toward Nello and Kendry really as 2 people that are going to be anchoring onto the site, as it were. So bit of a difficult one for NaVi. I think they've got to recognise that the roam player is coming out relatively successfully for Fierce. Although, having said that, Citizen's going to open up with one onto Prox, so Nomads will no longer be an issue.
Caster's curse, I think, there, unfortunately for Prox, as Citizen moves in. And this is, as I was saying, you have to close him down, you have to get the kills, but it's a big ask. It's not as simple as just choosing to do that. Penguin with a great kill onto Kendrew there to level things up at 4 versus 4, but Citizen still in there challenging, looking for any angle that he can find. He is not going to back away from that fight. He's going to keep pushing until he gets that kill, and that is what we see from him as a player, is that relentlessness that is difficult to deal with. Nello moving in and getting the kill onto Alfie, saves onto Keenan, so that now leaves us 4 versus 2. Absolutely beautiful shot from Saves there to take the head off off Keenan. Nathan now moving on a rotate to try and just mix things up a bit, but will get caught on a run out as Citizen starting to feel that confidence, gets his legs underneath him and starts to get the kills, second on the round. And Nathan now pushing in from Kitchen. He's got a lesion mine in his leg. His position is known. It was a huge ask. Everything was stacked against him, and Nello will just step out and get the kill onto Fierce there, putting that SMG of smoke to good use.
And look at how different that round was played out. There was no roaming whatsoever coming out from NaVi. They were just able and capable to deal with the pressure that was coming to site. And they've read into that so well from Fierce, because had they have gone out there on the roam, there would have been nobody there for them to, challenge onto. There would have been no fights for them to engage in. So it would have just been really difficult then to get back onto site if Fierce did get those couple of kills and open the site up for themselves. NaVi have read into that very well indeed. It still doesn't put us at much of an advantage for them, as they are 5-4. We've not seen a great difference in scoreline so far throughout this game. It's been pretty neck and neck. You can see the scoreboard on the screens just there, as we are starting to ramp it up ever so slightly. Something that I tried to talk about a little bit earlier is Keenan. Keenan seems to be one of the players and one of the guys on Fierce that if he's having a good day, Fierce as a whole tends to have a good day, because he's got that ability to chain those kills together, and he's just being a little bit too quiet here for Fierce. He thinks, and if he needs to ramp it up in the kills department ever so slightly, and that really could be the difference in Fierce winning a few more rounds.
I'd say the same for Pi. Not trying to criticise him, but he is having a little bit of a quiet day down there on 4 and 5. We've seen him do some great fragging work recently. It's not often that you see Nello pushing towards the top of the board. It's been a bit more recent, we've seen it a bit more recently. But, historically, he's generally more of that support role. But I think we just need to see maybe Pi stepping up a little bit. If he starts getting some of that fragging ability that we've seen from him recently and putting it to good use, then I think, again, that's one of the differentiators here that's going to push NaVi and just put him, that sort of head ahead instead of nose ahead. They're just squeaking it at the minute.
Quite a concise push coming through there from Fierce as they all make their way onto the hooker deck and start to look challenging onto the door. The Lion scan's coming out as well, and kills are going to get traded in either direction. Kendry just hold mouse 1, and he's going to pick up 3 kills for his trouble. He's going to be looking for another as he runs out, but he's going to get caught inside of the air jab, as he's now trying to make his way back on into the site.
3 versus 2, and who really knows how we got here with that absolute storm of kills there. We've seen this from Fierce before. We've seen it when playing NaVi, trying to rush site in numbers. I remember it on Consulate Garage, if you remember, X. They tried to do the same thing through a breach, and it didn't work then either. Citizen moving in, getting that kill onto Prox, now leaving us 3 versus 1, and this one is NaVi's almost certainly at this point. Citizen very confidently trying to set up a little C4 above a door there. He's moving in the Lion scanner. He's trying to bait him in. He wants him to move out of that side of luggage, but the Lion will not fall for the bait. Kendry will get that last kill onto Penguin, and Citizen will be denied his opportunity of a cheap C4 kill. Much better, again, from NaVi there. Prepared for whatever was thrown at them. They weren't caught out by that immediate rush. We can see Kendrew hitting the prone there and just absolutely wailing on them with the Alder.
It is the gun for that, though.
Of course it is.
Hold mouse 1.
You cannot run into an Alder.
See results. Win the round.
Profit.
Step 4, profit.
So heading into round number 11 then, we're going to see match points for the first time here on Coastline. NaVi will have that opportunity now to close this first map out. And I think if they can get themselves 1 up heading into Cafe, we know how good NaVi are on Cafe. I think it's going to be a big ask there. Fierce really need to come in big on this first map if they want any opportunity of getting through to the final. And
they've got a good chance. We're going down toward Kitchen. Kitchen hasn't been won yet by a defending team. So there's a very good chance that Fierce are going to try and stave this match point off for NaVi and stave them off from converting it, take them somewhere else. All of a sudden 5-6 starts to look pretty good, and we could maybe see a bit of overtime. That being said, with the way that Fierce tried to push last round, and we're seeing the Lion brought again, they can't just, all try and funnel themselves through one doorway. They're a better team than that. They need to give themselves the opportunity to single out some of these roamers, develop some of these crossfires, and look to start getting the plant down, because something that we've not seen so far is the diffuser go down.
We've seen the diffuser, as you say, we've only seen it once. We've seen it from NaVi. We got in and got that quick plant. Aside from that, in 10 rounds of Siege, we haven't seen the diffuser down again. And like you say, it's almost like it's been forgotten that you can't only win these rounds through kills, you can win them by playing the objective. And we've moved much more towards an objective-based meta again. We've seen 3, 4, 5 months recently of this sort of almost team deathmatch mentality of just getting in and getting kills, and we've seen that really drop off. I think Mozzie and Gridlock did a lot for that, to move us back towards that objective-based meta by cutting off the roams, by feeding information into the defenders and just changing the way that the game is played again. One of the beauties of Siege that we do see this meta change so drastically every 3, 4 months. But looking back to the game at hand, we're almost a minute in here. Slower progress from Fierce, certainly not rushing in this time, and that is unfortunate timing for Pi as he will get peeked out of the bathroom from Prox. Great plays from him to clear out the roamer from Theatre, and that is going to open up this side of the map for Fierce now. NaVi need to make a move here. They cannot rely on remaining on site. They have to get some kills over this side of the map.
And that's the move. Citizen is going to find one onto Nathan, but get traded out instantly as Keenan is going to be assisted ever so slightly there by the EE1D from Penguin. As now that does put Fierce in a commanding position. Frag grenades now going to be getting tossed out into main lobby area as Prox is no doubt going to start opening up this floor, making it very difficult for the remaining defenders on site. That being said, Kendrew seeing no difficulty, continuing his fine form with the Alder, is going to manage to find one over onto Keenan. Penguin now holding from main door, and the push now from Fierce, it's a little bit disjointed. They're not really working together as a unit all too well. Dockerby now making a way in and just inside of Hook, and I'm not sure if Alfie's aware that someone's just hiding behind the pillar as the peek comes through just as the Lion scan was activated, and that's going to be saves finding Warden. Well, it's looking like a done deal at this moment in time for NaVi. Prox left last alive in a 1 versus 3 situation. There is a minute left on the clock. He has got a lot of time to play with. I'm not sure if there's any information out there for him to make good use of, but it's going to be a very tall order if he's going to look to try and clutch this round out and keep his team in the fight.
In comes Prox with the first kill that he needs. That brings him to a 1 versus 2, taking saves off the board, who we know already has a kill on the round, so that will be 1 down, 2 to go as he moves in, searching for Nello in sight. Won't get any view onto either of the remaining NaVi players. He's not aware that he's just on the far side of the default plant spot there, and he's just given his location away with those gunshots, and that will be all that Nello needs to find Prox, pop up and get that kill and seal map number 1 on Coastline for NaVi. That will be an early advantage for them. However, if I'm Eminem watching this, X, I like what I see.
You've got to like what you see. I think if I'm a Fierce fan watching this, I kind of like what I see. I wasn't expecting them to come out there and to take that many rounds. I think they've done a really good job there.